All right. So, hey everybody. We're just gonna give it about a minute or two to see if anyone comes in. If not, we'll just go ahead and get started.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Introductions. Yeah, we'll start off with introductions. Who wants to go first?
Corum, Nick, then myself, I guess, because Corum is hosting, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter which order we go in. They either know of us or they're about to know of us.
Okay.
Set 11 review. I'll cover Royals. Corum talk Kagro. Corum talk Nubatama. Nick throw in, obviously. Corum will talk Darks. I'll talk Gears and Genesis, and Nick can throw in whenever he wants. We did a write up on it, by the way. I'll post it in the sidebar.
Just to keep the time, because we know that some people don't want to be watching a 2-hour long video like normal.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, we all ready to go? I am not seeing the stream on the Facebook page. That is weird. I see uploads.
Oh.
What's up?
So we'll talk about how we came up with the tier list, because we tried to make it as unbiased as possible.
Yeah. I played devil's advocate a bit with you in the Facebook chat. I hope you didn't take that as me trying to be combative. I was just trying to.
Because if anyone's watched our channel before, they know that I try to pull from past. I go with clan favorites. We go with, hey, this wins, so it's tier 1, and here's the reason why.
Everything has numbers and proven graphs and all that good stuff.
Just saying.
It's all been proven.
We have numbers.
We have numbers. This is statistics. This isn't based on feeling. So, I guess we'll just go ahead. If people trickle in, they trickle in. So, oh, we lost Nick. Oh no.
So here.
Okay.
Oh, did you just? Oh, you don't have your magic card.
Yeah.
I know. I thought Magikarp was there. Normally I have Magikarp up here.
Oh man.
It looks like. Is it even posted on the Facebook? Because I don't see it.
I got tagged in it, so I know it's there.
Okay. Yeah, I tagged you in it too, Zeke.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not on Facebook currently, I don't think, so.
Yeah.
Let us begin then.
Yeah, so, hey everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Corum. I'm an official Bushiroad judge for Cardfight Vanguard. I am joined here with Zeke, who helped staff at the same event as me. Do you want to say hello?
Oh, hey, sorry.
And then I'm joined with first loser Nick, actually second place regional winner over at Jacksonville, Nick Ward, who played Chaos Breaker. How do you feel, man? Still drinking in all the messages coming in? You there, Nick? Nick, you there? You totally didn't hear what I just said. No matter. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna.
yeah.
It's a train wreck.
It's a train wreck. I just introduced you, and you totally didn't respond for a good 30 seconds.
He was following my example of just not paying attention.
It's fine.
It's on my end.
Hey, Nick, are you there? There we go.
Here. I'm a figment of your imagination, though.
Nick,
Okay.
We're in a hangout, not a hangover. Just letting you know.
Yeah, good memes.
So we're gonna start with set 11. I feel like this is a good mini set. So Zeke will go ahead and take it away with Royal.
You guys can hear me all right,
first. Yeah,
yeah,
we can hear you.
Are you like lagging behind or something, Nick?
He must be, or his internet returned the crap.
Well, if he's lagging behind, we need to pause for a minute.
Pause.
Yeah.
We good now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Am I making noise?
Yes, you're making noise. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. We're back to 1-1. So set 11 Royals. First off, so Royals, the way we cut it down is we just picked out cards that were actually important and mattered. And for Royals, I shortened it down to 3 cards because I feel like they're the only things that actually like are going to affect anything in the future. And that's the new Gancelot Stride, Divine Fountain Maiden Lean, and New Style Blaster Lu. Gancelot is just the new first stride for Royals for blasters now. I mean, 4 drive checks and it countercharges if you have a blaster down for heart, solid. And then it gives Blaster Blade resist. It's going to be a nice keystone piece for the blaster deck, and it's going to probably keep it in meta for a foreseeable future. Yeah.
Gancelot's going to be so good.
The PG they got is just a Soul Blast PG, so you get the Soul Blast instead of pitching a card for PG, which is really solid if you're Blaster or Alfred. So I mean, for that deck, because you don't really use a lot of Soul, it's a solid card too. Because you don't super need the counter charge as much anymore, thanks to Gancelot. It literally just existing now. And then Lu just kind of ties everything together in a neat little package that says you get to have 2 Blaster Grade 3s and you don't have to run Alfred anymore. And its skill is solid because it just recycles the best card in your deck, which is Blaster Blade at that point. I feel that Blasters are probably going to be the best archetype coming out of set 11 for Royals to be playing. Like, Sanctuary Guard is still pretty scary, so it'll be interesting seeing if Blasters take over Sanctuary Guard's spot in meta, or if they just kind of trail along with it.
I feel like for Royal Paladins out of this set, with the boost Blasters made, basically the thing that made Sankguard such a good deck is that explosive very first turn, and then it was consistent from there out. The fact that they got a stride that basically says you cannot interfere with my key piece, and Sanctuary Guard can't abuse that either. I feel like Blasters are going to overtake that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to playing that deck since I got it now.
The new Gancelot is pretty terrifying because the way if I were to build new Blasters, the deck, and 12 crit, and then every turn you're getting 4 to 5 drive checks. And then if you can put those triggers on a restanding Blaster Blade, that pressure is intense.
Yeah.
And since that Blaster Blade has resist, you can't denial Griffin it. It's just you got to stop it.
It's really brutal. Also a crit. You're right.
Yeah.
I just felt like the crit was without saying, because mostly you're going to go into it first stride, and then after all your Alfreds are gone, if your opponent's still alive, then you're probably not going to win, or they're almost dead anyway. So you swing with a crit. Because the crit is only after GB2, essentially. You have to be a GB2 to even use it.
The thing is like, I will say for sure that you do not hurt your deck if you run 4 of this card. Gancelot is just good because it's just, hey, do you want to do drive checks or do you want to do drive checks? Literally, that between that and Alfred, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, like, it's solid. Like, it works.
It's going to be silly. I'm looking forward to seeing how it impacts the meta.
Same.
I think Royals got the best end of the stick out of set of 11.
Yeah, that's why we started with them.
Yeah, that's why they're number
downhill from here. I mean, everything else is just boring now.
Like, literally, the only thing that makes up for it is slightly gears.
Also, hey, what's up, Tomias? How you doing, man? He's in the chat. I'm just saying hi to him real quick.
Yeah, he brought up the crit thing.
Yeah.
So, moving on to Kagro, talk about it. Do it.
So, since we don't really have anyone who played Kagro, I decided to give it a shot, and the deck is dumb.
We do have some.
I was talking with a couple. Well, he plays Overlords though.
He plays all the Kagro builds.
Does he have Blade Master? I don't remember if he does.
Yeah.
Jeez, hey, Angela, hook me up with that, fam. So I've been testing this deck out on the Tabletop Simulator mod for Cardfight Vanguard, and it's really dumb. It's really efficient. And I really like where they were taking Blaze because I felt like it was always kind of lackluster because they were missing good cards because the retire mechanic is strong. However, they needed more. So when they introduced so what I said is Zeke is probably one of the best restanders to date we have seen because it's been kind of just Overlord is the only one who's pretty much gotten restanders. You had to pitch Overlords or you have to have an Overlord Vanguard in order to do some of this. The fact that with this card, if you do what Blaze does now, which is I nuke your entire board or most of it, to do I've done CB1 restand. I've done CB1 pitch one restand. That's really dumb. The deck itself has a lot more draw power with some of these cards. Cohen, the new Dragonic Blade Master Grade 3, is just really solid. It rewards you for just keeping your opponent's board clear, which is really annoying to them. Just getting a Grade 3 with Blaze from your drop zone, and that Grade 3 can be another Flame Dragon. It can be just another copy of Cohen. Doesn't matter. Being able to constantly stride, I feel you need to do that in order to stay in, like, to be competitive in the game. Because like if you look at Luar being able to put back 2 cards to strike for free, if you're in Ritual, that's really dumb. So it's good that Blade Master's got something on the road to that. Moving on to Flare Trooper Dumjid. Now people have been saying like it's not as good as Protect Orb, but after playtesting the deck, you don't need Protect Orbs because you have a lot of unflip from. To name a few cards, you have Nadell, which is a grade 1 that when your Vanguard becomes blazing, you countercharge 1 and he gets 4k. Mustafa, if you go into that first stride, you can countercharge if you hit, and you get a retire off it. Dita, your new starter, which is basically when your Vanguard becomes blazing, you sack it to countercharge and draw 1 and give something +3. There's a lot of countercharge in the deck, and I just don't understand why it's like you must run unflip PGs. You must run it. I feel like decks are changing to where you do not have to run unflip PGs anymore. It's not like, oh, I'm going to hurt myself if I run a keyword PG. So Dumjid also being able to say, oh, if you have a copy of it in the drop zone, this becomes equivalent to a base G guard. It's good. I'm going to run it if I build the deck. And the last card, even though it's a common, if I remember right, Mabuti is really good. Like, it's really good.
I think the best part of that card is its name.
Yeah, its name is hilarious too.
I'm gonna drop my booty.
Yeah, this Mabuti swinging in for Mabuti swinging in for 27k.
My boot is huge coming in.
Yeah. But with Mabuti, so I can't keep a straight face and say it. CB1 to draw and gain power for each empty rear guard circle. That's really good. The only other card that had that ability was the Glimmer Breath Clone Radiant Dragon, which was retire and get power boost, but you draw and gain a power boost for a CB. And then running stands in the deck, you can do it more than once. So Kagro's gotten a lot of draw power. They got a lot of key units. They got a cheap restander that they can abuse if you give them the opportunity to. So I feel like Blade Master is either going to be on par with Overlords or they're going to be better than Overlords, at least for the time being. So we'll see what happens come in the future.
Do you feel the support can push them to tier 1?
Not tier 1, but definitely tier 2.
Okay, I'm going to say not tier 1 either. It's just not enough of a push. It's Retire just doesn't go anywhere near as far as it used to, especially the fact that every clan, just most of the other clans are now getting retire abilities plus.
I feel it's situational. If they're able to stride first against like a Luard player, they could get the upper hand and Luard will have a very difficult matchup against them. Because being able to I've been on average able to kill 3 or 4 units with Blade Master with all the cards I have access to, and then I draw off it or I benefit from it in some way. I'm not lying, it's really good. Oh, hey, what's up, Alex? Didn't know you were watching too. Oh, you got back from Pokemon League? Neat.
Oh, I just realized I've been muted. I also said no, I don't think it's going to be tier 1. I think it's a garbage deck, and it's not going to be able to sit anything but tier 2.
I think maybe tier 1.5.
I feel
it's that good, but I definitely say tier 2. Tier 2 is going to sit there.
Yeah, I'll say tier 2 to 3. Like, I just don't think it's gonna creep its way to the top. It got a
It's
lot,
not
and it
tier
got what it
3.
needed.
It's not tier 3. It's tier 2.
There's too many other decks now that actually do what it does, but better or for a decent cost. And I think that they're in a good spot, but it just depends on what future support they get because we already know what Set 12 has in it, and it's not a good sign for Kagero.
So we're gonna transition into Nubatama now. Now for Nubatama, I put down 4 cards that are really just good. The entire support they got this set was dumb, really good. I like the direction they're taking with it, and I'm guessing Nick, you're also gonna comment on these cards after like I tell what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. There's so many directions I want to talk about with Nubatama. But we'll talk about the cards first, and I'll share my thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the triple rare, which is Enma Stealth Rogue Mugen Lord. So he's the one that CB1, you flip a copy of him, and for each face-up G unit, you choose one of your opponent's units, dominate it, give it +4. So basically what I like about this is Mugen Lord compared to Magen Tenbu, which I'll talk about after him, is Mugen Lord is quantity versus not necessarily quality, but numbers. You have quality and numbers. So Mugen Lord will get you a bunch of attacks, which can help with the PG, which we'll talk about in a second, which will help with getting effects off. And you can get on average 3+ attacks with it, which is either a card leaving the opponent's hand or a damage they have to take. And of course, getting a battle phase before main phase or before your own battle phase is really good because they're losing cards regardless. They have to hit a trigger to make some kind of comeback. So it's really good. It's a definite 4 of if you're running that deck, you need to run that card because it enables so much, and it punishes your opponent for having a board. So it kind of scares them into, do they want to maintain a board? Do they want to go all out that turn? Because then if the Nubatama player survives, they come back at them in full force.
Yeah, I feel like the dominate's probably the ultimate dick move. By the way,
Yeah.
it's if your unit, it's going to attack your vanguard, then it's going to commit suicide.
That's the next card that we're going to talk about that commits suicide. Yeah, so Magen Tembu is basically same thing. I think it's CB1, flip a copy of this card, choose one of your opponent's units, and it gets +3 for every face-up G unit. And then at the end of the turn or at the end of the battle that it's swung, you retire it. So it can be used as a finisher. You can just use it as your first try to say, I don't like you having that grade 2, and I know you don't draw a lot of cards. I want it gone. After swinging at them with it. So like what I like with it is that you can dominate Morfessa, and then if you're in Ritual, you can use Morfessa's ability with it, and she's already swinging huge as it is. So it's like really dumb.
I also really like the idea of act dominate, so that way I can go, hey, I dominate your unit, I'm in Unite.
Yeah.
I'm brave, or I dominate your unit, I'm in Ritual.
Also, what's funny is that since we have push to soul crit that countercharges and Ezra's or no what's the Nubatama crit name? Noroi, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can enable darkness if you're fighting against a dark regulars player and use their units. Stuff like that. I just find it hilarious. It's like I can do what you do. So those are the 2 key strikes you're going to be running. Magen Tembu's is a double R compared to Mugen Lord, which is a triple R. Both I think are going to be necessary for the deck. I think they're both 4-ofs because you're probably going to do Magen Tembu first if you have the resources. If not, you're using the Trial Deck Stride, which is just auto-dominating unit, and it swings. And then, depending on the situation, if you have the board to call more units or they leave units at you, Mugen Lord. Otherwise, you Magen Tembu again for just more power. The next card we're going to talk about is Furai, which is a grade 2 double R, which when he's on rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1 to call a card from your opponent's drop zone to rearguard. And then he gets +2 for every time your unit swings, including dominated units. So I've been able, on Mugen Lord turns, to get him to above 21k. On average, about 19k or more. And he's also a key piece to set up. So if you have this at the beginning of, like, if you stride and you go into Mugen Lord and he's still on the field, your opponent's gonna they're taking hits. There's no way they're gonna stop that turn.
As a Link Joker player, I really, 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 really do not like Dominate.
Don't leave
Play
a
the
board
game
out.
now.
Kill your own units, Nick. Kill them. And then the last thing
everything's what to do.
Yeah. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is the Perfect Guard. It's an Ezra's clone. It's good. And also it's on your Mugen Lord turn, you're probably returning that card to your deck and bouncing a PG to hand. It's like if any one of these units hits you, I get a PG back to hand. So either they're going to drop
really
hand.
I think that's the best part about the deck. Like it's what?
Yeah, it's you're losing cards, or you're letting me gain cards, or you're losing the game. It's such a gimmicky deck, and I love it. But what are your overarching thoughts on Nubatama? Do you think it's going to be like competitive out the gate, just tier 2? It can compete with a lot of decks.
I don't think it's going to have quite the push that it needs to go to tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Good, but it's not going to be great. It's also going to be really silly, just like watching some of the interactions that I can have between Link Joker and the interactions that I can have with Shadow Paladins, and it can have interactions with Gear Chronicle. Resurrecting Melum is going to be a lot of fun.
Also, with the new Kagero support, Nubatama can dominate their Blaze units and get Blaze effects immediately.
Now, about Pales, I know Pales are inherently, especially Magia definitely can return units back to their soul, but the fact that Shiranui can summon a unit, Furai can summon a unit, that's still 2 units, and that can still get somewhere. So it's going to be iffy. It's definitely something that I don't know if Pale Moon's going to be like, oh, I'm the reason that you're going to have difficulty. But we're going to see what happens.
I think the deck will still struggle against Gears too.
Yeah,
it'll struggle against Gears for sure.
If everyone knows if Gears goes off, then you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, and I think it's just gonna it doesn't seem like it's gonna be very fast, so I feel like it's gonna have a hard time against some of those rush decks as well. And also Grand Blues is gonna be a bad time for it as well.
And Blasters.
Yeah, Blasters
is gonna be not fun for it at all.
Yeah, because it's like, oh cool, I get to pick the unit I call for my drop zone. I chose Blaster Blade. It has resist. You can't dominate it. I can't wait to do that to all my opponents that play Nubatama.
Actually, the resist is only during the player's turn that has Ganslot face up in the G zone. It's not a constant thing. It's only so you can't get it header around it in Denial Griffin. You can still dominate it.
Well, darn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's not that busted, but it's still really good to have.
Okay, then I call my Soul Blast 1, draw a card.
Pretty much.
So I can guard the attack that I have to not take.
Yeah, I would definitely say the Nubatama shines at your second stride, because then you go into Mugen Lord, you have 3 face-up G units, you can dominate 3 units, they all swing. That's not bad. Considering you get 1 swing because of Shiranui, the new Shiranui's on stride, and then you set up, and then you do 3 more swings with Mugen Lord, and then you do 1, 2, 3 for your battle phase. So you're getting about 7 attacks that turn. That's not bad for second stride. At least that's how I feel on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly hit on Dark Irregulars, because I'm just going to say this entire set has been amazing for Darks. It might even make them competitive, I feel, for once. So obviously Bread of Mouth is the standard that returns triggers to deck. It is GB2, so we have to go into something before it. But returning triggers to deck, getting 2 swings, you power up units. It's really good with the old Sherrod, which is when you swing with it, you retire a unit if you have 6 or more soul. So you can get 2 retires with him. It's really good. I can't wait to run it. I'm actually going to have difficulty deciding what to put for my G zone. I'm actually cut Gills down to 2 to fit him in.
Yeah, just have Gills as a finisher.
Yeah, Gills is just going to become a 2 of. So, and Darkness might actually be a good deck to play for competitive. Amon might be too, but I still have to do testing on it because they're going in a different direction. But Sherrod, so Sherrod replaces the grade 2 Silent Tom Clone we have, so that frees up a grade 2 slot that we can use now. So either you can do Succubus of Attachment, you can do Brennan Vampire, which is a really good card to have too. There's a bunch of other grade 2s you can try to incorporate if you want to throw back in Amber Clone, which I don't recommend doing, but I can't stop you doing it. We have another grade 2 slot that's open. Closet Balloon is not a bad PG. People were saying like, oh, it's garbage compared to like the one we got in the previous set with our regular support. But the fact that basically when this used to play some card circle from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do choose one of your units that is being attacked, it cannot be hit till end of battle. And if you have if you have a copy of it in your soul, you have 10 or more cards in soul, you may draw a card. That's a big thing, being able to draw off of using a perfect card, which could help. And then continuous rear guard, generation break, 1 darkness. If the number of cards in your soul is 6 or more, this unit gets power plus 2k. So you have an 8k booster in case you need it. You can combo it with the Sherrod Stride to put it into soul so that you can have your draw ability in case you get another Closet Balloon. So you can run both Closet Balloon and you can run the Darkness PG. So I feel like people just
do be pretty good in on Blade Wing.
It is. I still love using the Quintet Wall though because it's still like a 60k plus no pass. And that actually matters too. And I also add Great Trees to hand, but that's another thing. Slashing Strike of Sorrow Rugerius is really good. We needed something to flip a G unit because we would go into Ericus and then it's like, well, I'm not GB2 yet. I can't really do anything if I can't stride. Which is basically CB1, choose a face down card, and G zone turn to face up, soul charge 3. Choose one of your rear guards. For each soul charge card with different grades, and they get power plus 5k until end of turn. If a card with a darkness ability is soul charged with this effect, choose up to 1 grade 3 card from your soul and put it in your hand. So if we go to GB2, we power up our field, we soul charge, and we get strike fodder on 1 single R. I mean, that's really dumb. I love it.
So does it go to... Will it be competitive?
I feel like it will because we can go to GB2 now. We power up our board for the turn. And then the main thing that makes this deck competitive is you're running for Were Tiger Jaeger, which has 3 different abilities that are all gods and the DIs. So, if you guys don't know, CB1 during your turn when it's put to soul to the effect of one of your cards, you may pick out something to draw. So anytime you soul charge it, you draw a card. Act Soul Darkness. CB1 choose card from your hand, discard it. The number of cards in your soul is 6 or more, soul charge 1. Then if the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, return this card to your hand. So you bounce a strike fodder to your hand. And when you're paying the cost for stride, if you have 2 or more cards in your soul with darkness ability, this card gets grade plus 2. So I feel like darkness will be competitive because you're running 4 of this card. We have another stride enabler if you really want to run it, but you don't really need it. This card does everything you want it to do, and then all the support is really good. And then DI strides are just amazing. If you want to go into gills, you can finish them for a 60k. You must drop everything, or you need to drop at least 2 G guards and extra to stop it. Sherrod's a board wipe. You have a restander. Oh man, it's gonna be good. I feel like Darks are gonna give everyone a run for their money. But I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be tier 2. I don't think it's gonna be tier 1 because they got more draw power, but it's not enough. I feel like still no deck can really compete with Gears. They're probably going to really have difficulty with Rush, especially Blasters. I don't know if they're going to compete with Blasters. And then the Amon support is interesting. It's heavy ramp. Could it be competitive? Maybe, but the fact is it's not darkness, so that's going to make it really difficult to kind of... it'll have an early game, but I'm not sure about a late game. That's my only concern, because the previous iteration of Amon was... it had good early game, you could rush with it, and then you quickly finish them with either Legion or Crossride. So
What did you say right before Quorum continued, Nick?
I was going to say that we're losing core.
Yeah. Don't forget to read the sidebar chat.
No, our likes to make it maybe tier 2 is its best case.
Yeah,
Everyone else is cutting out really bad.
They-
For me.
that's weird.
Like Quorum sounds
Can
like
you
a
hear me?
robot, and Nick like randomly stops. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
my band
I
was-
was going to. Dark Regulus probably just doesn't have what it takes to push to the top either. Like, it just. It has a terrible, terrible matchup against Shadows. And then also, it's really redundant to say this, but it's match phenomenal either.
It's what?
Its matchup against Gears isn't phenomenal either.
Yeah, well, everyone's matchup against Gears is really phenomenal.
Yeah, the Dex and T1 have good matchups against it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, did Dark Irregulars become they can be competitive? Yes, I feel like they can compete. They're not tier 1, but I feel like they can compete with a bunch of other decks right now.
We'll watch and see what happens when it starts hitting the fan in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next we have Gears.
Yeah, I'm taking over from here on
Go ahead, dude.
because it's Gears and Genesis. So Gears, I only put 2 cards on the list because the rest of it's Ideodrome or Gear Colossus, Zodiac Time Beast stuff. And I feel like most of it either enables Demiurge to do Demiurge things better. But the main 2 cards I want to talk about are Chronojet cards because Chronojet's the current top deck. So the first one is the other GR besides Ganslot. It's Mystery Freeze. So Mystery Freeze effect, everyone's already seen it. It's literally just playing the Lotto, and it's going to be a tech choice for Gears. And that's pretty much it as far as Mystery Freeze is concerned. You're probably going to run it as a one-of. But you're going to probably use it if somehow you don't kill your opponent on your Metallica Phoenix, Groovy, next order, the next stage. If you haven't killed them by then, it's like, well, I guess I have Mystery Freeze. In my opinion, at least. The other card is just the other grade 1 toolbox card that came out, Transit Dragon. It's whenever this unit boosts, it goes to Soul and draws a card. So it can replace GG and doesn't have to, so you don't have to compete for Soul for draw cards anymore. And it also is active during battle phase, which is slightly better for Gears. And it just doesn't compete for resources anymore with things like Lishma and GG and Hetero rounds. That's pretty much it for Gears, honestly, as far as Chronojet's concerned. And then the rest of it is the new triple rare Evanir Phoenix is they stole Gold's mechanic and somehow made it around Zodiac Time Beast, and I feel like it's lackluster. I think Nick has different feelings on that, though.
No, I wanted to experiment with Zodiac Time Beast, but original, like the old build that's been topping is unchanged.
That's fair.
I wanted the playtest and see if there was a way that we can make the PG that came out in the last set, the one that you can banish a copy of it from the drop zone and it only guards the Zodiac Time Beast. But there's just Zodiac Time Beast just don't have enough to make that replacement worth it.
Yeah.
I've been looking over stuff, and as much as I would love to have Arca like in the deck, I don't think it works with Chronojet. I feel like it works with Demiurge because Arca is a Zodiac Time Beast, so it goes towards the 12 requirement, and it's easy to do, and you bounce a copy of it to your hand. So, if anything, Zodiac Time Beast for Demiurge, yes, they've gotten faster, but it's still, I feel like it can't really compete. Now, can you throw some of this into like Chronofang? I feel like you can. Some of it will work for sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, not really. The Chronojet build is going to have some minor tweaks, but nothing too major. Stick with your Arlem's. Arlem's better to use.
Yeah. And then they got a new Stride Fodder, a ZTB Stride Fodder, which is fantastic because it means you can just run Fang and Jet now, and the Jet deck can be fine and not have to worry about as many things. And then they got one of my favorite grade 2s that came out, Pulsar Tamer Manish, and Manish is a resist unit if you have ZTB Vanguard. And then it gets 11k for every ZTB unit. So it's an 11k attacker with resist. So, and I feel like Jet really needs it going forward. Well, they don't really need it. It just really helps stay at T1.
Yeah, she basically just gets big if you have a field of Zodiac timepiece units, and then she mines herself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not bad. So next we have Genesis, if there isn't anything else to comment on.
I'm sorry. You're cutting out a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's okay. So
my bandwidth is very low. There's nothing more you can do.
It's okay. So Genesis got a lot of new Revelation stuff. It's pretty, in my opinion, I think it's horrible. Without putting it nicely, I think Genesis should be Wiseman, Fenrir, and that's about it.
You just got a bunch of Genesis fanboys right now, but go ahead, dude.
Well, it's okay because I also play Genesis, and I think Genesis is garbage. So get on my level. So Ishtar is, I think, the only good card they got because Amaruta is terrible. But Ishtar is whenever you get something that isn't a trigger, make it a trigger and give free K to things based on how many dudes you have face up, and it flips a unit whenever you do this. Whenever you get drives that aren't triggers for G zone, so you get to pick more things. You get to give things more 3K, and if it has a revelation, you stand things. So you swing with all your things, and then you stand them, and they're bigger now, and you. Yeah, it's decent. It accelerates GB, so you can do it into your GB8 earlier, which I don't understand why you would instead of running Wiseman, because Wiseman is literally the GB8, but on a grade 3 10K.
Mm-hmm.
That's better. Amaruta is part of that trend that they're giving people all the you can stride for an alternate cost thing, and your stride cost is you soul blast 3 units with Revelation, which I honestly don't know why they decided to make it Revelation units instead of just Soul Blast 3 to Stride, because it makes the card incredibly xenophobic and makes it only work with Revelation units. So you have to run other grade 3 Revelation units, and you don't really have a large repertoire of grade 3 Revelation units. And that being said, the 4 grade 3 Genesis build just doesn't work because you're a Stride deck, and you need to Stride every turn. If you're not playing Wiseman. And then the counterblast. Sorry, go on.
If allow you to do Wiseman loop more efficiently, though, or more effectively.
You're asking if it will allow you to do it more efficiently and effectively?
Yes.
Absolutely not. So a big thing about Wiseman is that Wiseman is generic, and it likes generic support because it can get the most out of generic non-GB cards. And later on, I'll point out more things that kind of tie together to my thesis statement of the new Revelation trash is terrible. But for now, it's kind of Amaruta. One, it uses Counterblast, which is the most expensive resource in Wiseman, in my opinion, because you get Soul for free and you get dudes for free, pretty much. It uses Counterblast to Soul Charge 2, so it's already worse than Fenrir. It does draw a card, but you don't want cards in your hand, you want them in your soul, because you only need to guard for 3 turns to win the game. At minimum 3 turns, or at maximum 3 turns. You have to guard 3 turns to win the game, and you don't really have an issue with that playing it currently. And giving 2 units 4K is okay, I guess, but why? And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Amaruta requires very xenophobic support that says you have to run Revelation. And you could just do the same thing if you really wanted to run Revelation. You could just throw in Fenrir and not run Amaruta and run Fenrir Wiseman with all the Revelation cards. And it would be slightly worse because you'd be giving up all the cards that make Wiseman playable, like Grappa and Valencia. Continuing on, though, new Fenrir is also horrible because it's not Wiseman. And it's also it's the weirdest chain of effects that don't make sense. So it's a Counterblast 1 that soul charges one. It looks at the top 3. You put 1 into your soul, you put 1 into your hand, and then you put the other one on the bottom of your deck, I believe. Oh no, it doesn't even go to your hand. It's Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3, check the top 3, put 1 into soul, 1 into drop, and the last one on the bottom of your deck. And then if you have a face-up Fenrir in your G-Zone, not as a Vanguard in your G zone, you get to countercharge 1, which makes it a Soul Blast 3 to selectively Soul Charge from the top 3. Like, why would you run this?
Gross.
It just seems like a worse version of all the other cards that say I counterblast to Soul Charge 3 and draw a card. Because Genesis has like 3 of those that just do that already. Then there's Kibitsu Hime. Kibitsu Hime is actually really solid. And it is a card that helps accelerate current Wiseman. And I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I think it's a really solid card because it's Revelation on Guard Circle, so you can figure out triggers or figure out what's on top of your deck to more selectively Soul Charge things. Then if you have one in the drop zone, or sorry, if you have one in Soul, you Soul Charge 2. So it's a Valencia on Guard Circle.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic because it's Soul Charge for not dying.
Would you play that in Wiseman though?
That's what I just said. Yeah, that card is amazing
Okay.
in Wiseman. Because in Wiseman you run the unflip PGs because you don't have any other good options. You run one Secret Release because you're like, I can at least filter my soul to get the thing I needed to my soul into it. But with that, it's just like I don't need to run Secret Release anymore. And having APG in my soul is no longer a bad thing. And then there's Tagut, which I'm debating between if it's a better Iris or a worse Iris, which Iris is the one where you pick 3 cards from your drop zone, push them into Soul, and you get 5k. This one gets 10k, but you have to pick a unit from your rearguard circle, and then you get copies of it from your drop zone and push them to Soul. So if you really mess up and you call a Taro and you have 3 in drop zone, you can at least push those 3 Taros back in, or set up for another Wiseman turn if you didn't Dreaming Dragon because you forgot to use the effect. So that's how my feelings on it are you maybe run it instead of Wataxi or whatever her name is from set 8 Absolute Judgment, the G guard they got in that, because that card is effectively worthless compared to this, because at least this one returns stuff from drop and has 10k shield as well, so there's not really
Yeah, so comments who's watching. He said that Genesis would be better if it had the G zone that Shadows does, which this is true, but that's also true for literally every deck in the game.
Except Gears.
Except Gears, because Shadows G zone is literally, what do I want to do? Okay, do it.
Yeah.
Do I want to draw cards and retire? Do I just want to draw cards? Do I want to make my opponent sack cards?
Yeah, like the G zone for Shadows is just so good. It's I don't even know, honestly. It's just good. So then there's Sinri, which is, I wrote down that it's a solid card, and I might change my opinion as I'm reading it again. It takes up the tech slot in Wiseman that you have, which is Yorgaman. Yorgaman is the guy, whenever you Soul Blast, he gets big. Gets 1k for every card Soul Blasted. It's a solid card to run on your Wiseman turn because you can easily make him a 40k, which is usually what you wind up swinging if you're doing the smarter Wiseman plays, which are, I'm going to swing at you like 10 times for 40k, and then I'm going to swing at you for Yorgaman that's 40k, and then I'm going to swing at you for Vanguard and stuff like that. So it works out slightly better in that variant because you can just say, I don't really need Yorgaman, because you don't, and this one just gives you Revelation on Rearguard Circle. But it allows you to move cards from the top or bottom of your deck once per turn. If your Vanguard has Revelation, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's whenever something gets rested by Revelation, you put the top part of your deck on top or bottom, and it gets itself 2k. So it's fine whenever you're doing tier turn and you're like, I need to check the top card of my deck a couple times to figure out when I need to start soul charging and when I don't. And it takes up that's grade 2 slot that you don't really care about anyway. So I think it would be worth playing with, but I don't know if it's going to be necessarily better. Oh, Nick dropped. He's back.
He's coming back.
There we go. I'm here, Nick. I've been talking the entire time.
Yeah.
So the last card is a Wanami. It's a rearguard circle revelation unit. That's whenever it's put into drop zone from soul, you can soul charge 1, and then if your Vanguard has a revelation, you could soul charge 1. I brought this card up because I particularly hate this card because a lot of people are saying it's basically Grappa or basically Valencia, and that's completely wrong. And I'll tell you why you're wrong. And it's because you have to have a Vanguard with Revelation. So you can either pick between Ishtar or Fenrir for strides, and those are the only two that have Revelation. Or you run the 10k Battle Maiden, that is grade 3 from set 8. You run Amaruta, or you run there was one more Revelation that got printed. That Shiva Ice Queen chick, and I think there was one more that was printed in this set as well.
It was Ninil, I believe.
Yeah, Ninil. So there are 3. You have 2 strides that you're going to run in Revelation anyway, so that makes sense, right? But there's also the fact that you're also going to be running potentially a bad grade 3 with your main grade 3 if you're running a Maruta with it, because you're not running this with Fenrir, because in Fenrir you go into tier first for your Wiseman, so it doesn't assist Wiseman. So the comparison between Grappa and Valencia is very weak, because one, Grappa and Valencia are not G. They just say whenever you Soul Blast them, Soul Charge 2, which is fantastic and actually does things. This card literally just says, if you Soul Blast me, I technically didn't get Soul Blasted because you Soul Charge again. And I feel like that's okay. I wouldn't run it because you have other good grade 1s. So if you're running Fenrir, you have Chain, the Chain grade 1 that says give something 6k, Soul Charge 2, and I go to the bottom of your deck, which is a fantastic card. And then you also have Haiti, which Haiti, it sounds weird saying like Haiti is a good card, but Haiti is if you're running Revelation Genesis, Haiti is a decent card. And then you also have grade 1 Revelation cards that you could be running that aren't this. So it honestly just seems like Genesis just got this weird xenophobic support that's not meant to support the old stuff, because I guess Bushiroad didn't want to print stuff that could assist Wiseman in becoming good again. But they also didn't really give them anything worth playing.
Do you think it's Bushiroad basically doing the same thing as Luard was to Shadows, and how Claret Sword originally came out, as well as what would be another good example? Nubatama, because they originally had either different keywords or they had a style of play, but now they're trying to change it up.
I agree with Chat. They wanted to move away from Fenrir because it's not in the show anymore, honestly. And also, I feel like the Wiseman thing may or may not have any bearing on it at all. I feel like it doesn't, because I don't think Bushiroad actually cares about that. But I do feel that Amaruta is just bad. Like, I think it's absolute. I think if you're running pure Revelation, one, you're running Taro. You're running probably 8 crit, and the rest of your deck is just kind of this weird, like, I call a bunch of dudes to my board to check the top card of my deck, and then I leave it there, and then I stop calling dudes. So you just kind of call dudes until you get your thing, and then you stop doing Revelation mechanics, so you're kind of wasting dude calls whenever you're just like, I need to make a board for the turn, because you don't have Fenrir anymore, unless you're running Fenrir with it, in which case, why are you running Fenrir with Amaruta? Or why are you running Amaruta with Fenrir? Like, it doesn't make sense. Because Genesis just doesn't have options right now, and is just not in a good spot.
It's like running Claret Sword and Shadows. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, like, it's...
Claret Sword and Shadows. It's like running Claret Sword and Luard. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, because, I mean, it works if you ran Amaruta with Fenrir, but it's just, why? Like, nothing. It's like your new Revelation support is so xenophobic, and it doesn't even. I don't even think it likes itself, honestly. Like, it's really just. It makes me feel ooey inside. And I really like Genesis too.
So we'll say that Genesis will remain unchanged in the meta.
Yeah, because you're probably
continue being tier 0. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Tier 4.
If anything, well, Genesis has a couple tops this year. If anything, it'll probably drop in the meta, because the thing is that if you don't get, like, if you're good now, but you don't get good support in the future, then you're eventually going to fall behind, because other clans will get good support.
I mean, when I looked at this set, I looked at the previous clans we talked about, and I said, that's worth something, that's worth something. That had a huge improvement and worth something. And I got to Genesis, and I'm like, there's a couple cards I could see being played, but it, like, it didn't justify me dropping money on it. I
By
didn't
the
feel
way-
I honestly felt like if I pulled Ishtar, I was like I lost money.
By the way, Tobias, I disagree with that on one card. There's one card that takes advantage of Revelation, and it's literally just Ishtar. Ishtar is the only good Revelation card to get printed, and it's bad because the rest of the cards are exactly like you said. There's no benefit for doing it. Like literally, there's one card, and it's a stride that flips itself to make itself more useless faster.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis is in the business of making itself worse faster now, and I don't understand why they would be like, why would you make Ishtar flip itself? If you made Ishtar flip something else, it would have been fantastic. It would have just been like, cool, I get to go to Ishtar for 4 turns. And Ishtar is a really good stride, but it flips itself, so it's like, why? Ramp to GB8? Yeah, you're right. Let me ramp to GB8 so I can have a lackluster Wiseman turn with my GB8.
Yeah, jeez.
Like that's the other thing. It's like Wiseman is Genesis to me now, but everything else isn't.
Yeah.
I think
We've been
I think that's it for Genesis.
Yeah, we're done with settlement.
Yeah, it's just overall we feel like at least I feel like Royals is overall the best out of the set. You definitely get your money's worth, and there's so much good stuff. I would say Darker Regulars is the most improved. And then I would say the worst like cards out of the set would be Genesis. I feel like Genesis honestly got the shaft this set. So but that's me.
So let's move on to the current state of the meta and what the tier list is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna screen share real quick and I'm gonna show what we have. So let me put me up real quick. Oh man, the endless loop. So you guys see the chart?
Yep.
All right, so
Memes.
So tier lists are always very fun subjects because people who don't see their favorite clan at the top of the tier list normally get like really pissy. And even if it's like people who are supporting a clan that's obviously bad, like the OTT players are like, it should at least be tier 2 or 3. And the answer is no. We decided to make a tier list that's based just on tops and the percentage of tops. And also I picked the events. The decks that I picked were decks that made top 3 at major Bushiroad events to where it could get put on their website, or top 8 at a big enough ARG event that it would get put on the ARG Circuit Series website. I didn't want to go to websites that would be like something that someone put on Facebook or smaller locals or even like the other 5 decks in top 8, just because I'd have, in order to find out what those other 5 decks are, I would end up having to ask around, and I don't want the validity of my list to be up to someone gave me bad information, so I'll just get it straight from Bushiroad, which
To
they're
be
so
fair,
good at giving information.
we did
Whatever.
try to get the top 8 from a lot of events, and was it the same time is the time that we got 3 different sets of deck lists for top 8 at not Jacksonville, the event after it we got like 5 different sets or 3 different sets of different deck lists.
I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was like, okay, which one of these actually topped?
So for Bushiroad events, it's top 3, and then ARG events, it's top 8 of only the ones that get posted on the ARG Circuit Series website, and also the Bushiroad of Japan website.
Yeah, those are like 150 people event ARGs, I believe.
Yeah. Another reason too is that let's use an example of a deck that's not on here, Neo Nectar, because it's the favorite deck of one of our team members who can't win ever.
He can't win, and he's funny because he says it's so good, but it can't top.
Yep.
Yeah, and so Neo Nectar is really, really good.
He knew. He knew. He knew we were talking shit.
So the reason why why Neo Nectars is going to be ranked really, really, really low on this tier list is because it doesn't make it through ladder very well. It's matchups that it wins it completely, but it goes up against a deck that it has a bad matchup against, it instantly loses and it gets kicked out of ladder. Like there's just some matchups where it doesn't stand a chance.
Also, Nick, you forget either the players cheat or they lose to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So we're gonna go in descending order.
What's at the top?
I wonder.
Oh my God, Gear Chronicle.
Hey, look,
so
my favorite
much
deck
Gear
is on
Chronicle.
the list.
God, so much Gears. So last year, Gears was 28% of the meta. So things have gotten slightly better.
Yeah, Luard came out.
Mhm.
Literally, Luard came out. I think that's the only thing that changed.
Top of the list is Gear Chronicle has 18% of the tops. It's just common sense. It's the best deck in the game right now.
BGIN.
And it will continue to be the top deck in the game for a while.
Yep, getting support set 12. We saw Chronojet on the box art. It's happening, boys.
Like we need another Chronojet.
I can't wait for Gear Disco.
I can't wait for
man.
Link Joker to get support again. Especially since Token Rabu got 2 sets of support before we did.
It'll be an attack booster. It'll be an attack booster with Mega Colony.
So
we'll talk about sets. We'll talk about set 12 later, but that set surprised me when I saw the clans on it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, OTT.
Yeah, I don't know why. Continue, Nick.
The next 2 decks in tier 1 is going to be Shadow Paladin Luard. Obviously, it's the deck is silly. It also stole a trip from Japan to me. For me, I just stood at home and cried, thinking about how I will sob and lost to that wizard that wears heels. I didn't notice that he wears heels until I saw the full art card, and I'm just like, oh my God, I lost to a card that's a dude with heels.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Not like heels, like heel triggers, like lady shoes.
Scary cyber dragon.
Actually,
blood red scythe can't beat a dude in heels.
Heels were made for men.
I'm not a conformist.
So next is Grand Blue, you said?
Yeah, Grand Blue. So the funny thing about Grand Blue is that the only reason why it's so high on the list is because everyone and their brother played it in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
This deck has had very, 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 very little American presence, and actually it's had very little presence everywhere that's not, very little presence everywhere that's not Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but it's not great. It's not like hyped out like everyone on the Facebook page said it was going to be. It wasn't going to be the best deck in the game. It was going to be tier 1. I mean, it has a good toolbox, but it's not phenomenal. I think it's eventually going to fall. It's probably going to fall in the tier list eventually, but and for now it has a huge amount of tops. So we're gonna keep it at tier 1.
So there's one thing I want to point out about Night Rose, and it was my favorite post on the Facebook, and it was this guy that was 100% confirmed that Night Rose was going to push Gears out of meta.
Jeez.
And I remember people were like bandwagoning behind him, and then it dropped, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I remember that, and the best part. I wanted to say something, but then the other part of me was like, I don't feel like getting waifu hate.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I passed on and saying, yeah, you're dumb. It's not going to overtake Gears. It just can't.
Yeah, 6% more tops later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Moving on to tier 2. So tier 2 was where people will probably get upset with us and not agree with our tier list and call us scum and trash and whatever. Mm-hmm. But we have Sanctuary Garden tier 2, which it's not the force that it used to be, but it's still really good. Most of its presence is it's actually gaining more of a presence on the Bushroad of America, but its tops were mostly it didn't have too many Japan tops, did it? No, it didn't have very many Japan tops, but it's seeing
they still run 16 crit Sankguard over there, I feel, but
and here.
Yeah, but again, it's mainly Sankguard abuses the Blaster engine. When Blasters fully come out, I feel like we're gonna see it drop a little bit.
Yeah, well, the thing about Sankguard is that it doesn't have like a super presence everywhere, but anywhere, but it has a steady presence across the world. So it's doing well in Japan and America, and and Europe and Asia, Oceania, and Japan. So that's a deck that's
gotten third place at regionals.
So
it could have made it a little higher.
Moving down, 7 Seas, Grand Blue 7 Seas Rush. No matter how hard Busher, no matter how hard Busher tries, that deck won't die. It's Grand Blue.
Mm-hmm.
What a coincidence! That's very punny. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no surprises there. They'll probably end up doing if that ban list, or not that ban list, but that limitation comes to America, I might see less of a presence. Aquaforce Thavas, which I think people will be upset with us putting Thavas in tier 2. Just the deck is really strong, but it also just it has the Saintguard syndrome of it's not doing incredibly well in one particular part of the world, or not incredibly well everywhere, but it's doing steadily well everywhere. It just kind of pops its head up here and there, and that's what makes it tier 2.
I want to point out something with Avis. Last year we actually had a random rogue deck be in it was the second or third highest topping deck, and it was Nova Grappler in America, which was really weird. And Davis kind of fills in that slot this year of being that weird rogue deck, honestly.
Yeah, I think Ogforce will probably just continue to be like a hidden presence in the back. Like it might spike up to like tier 1 for a little bit, like it kind of has a habit of doing in the past, or just like, hey, I'm going to be tier 1 for a little bit, and then I'm going to hide in tier 2 forever, and then maybe pop my head up again later.
Yeah,
but
I feel like Thavas needs another set of support, and they need that alternate grade 3 Thavas that has some form of resist, so that it's not like, well, it has a resist thing. It's basically, it turns into something with 3 different abilities. Because your alternate grade 3 is what, Skyros? Greytas something. They need that alternate Thavas, grade 3.
Yeah. Yes, give them that alternate Thavas like grade 3 that does not give the front row resist. I would appreciate that.
It gets the entire field resist. Joke's on you.
Next on the list for tier 2 is Kagura Overlords. Kagura Overlords. I think that one's going to steadily fall over the list over time because Blade Master will probably creep it out.
Mm-hmm.
Next, next on the list after that, I have too many windows open. I actually need to keep track of what I'm talking about. Is Altmal. Altmal just like popped up out of nowhere this year. Like it had no presence at the beginning of the year, and now it's catching up at the end of the year. So Altmal's tier 2, and if it keeps the pace that it's going, it might actually end up becoming tier 1.
Since I play the deck, it's more dumb than what I originally thought after seeing it's one of the guys who was also at the Jacksonville Regional. He did really well, and it's just dumb how you go from having 3 cards in hand or less to do things, and you can end with 7+ cards in hand.
Yeah.
So they continue just to build on that. It's great.
The only bad sign for it is honestly the Royals have blasters now, and Set 11 is coming out.
Yeah. So
something to remember.
Yeah, moving down on the list, Chaos.
Oh no, Nick.
Yeah. So this deck actually has 4 tops this year.
You're the reason it's in tier 2.
Yeah. So amazingly, so if people were paying attention, I said descending order, and I just said Chaos before Messiahs. So that's going to make a lot of people pissed because last time I brought this up, people got very upset with me. But this year, Chaos at events has more tops than Messiahs do, so that's the reason why we're ranking it higher in the tier list.
Literally, Nick and I have argued about Chaos versus Messiahs for a long time as well, and I have finally conceded that Chaos is the better deck just because Chaos does have a stronger engine now. Because Messiahs are just garbage. Like, Messiahs don't have anything now. It's just like, it's at the point where it's like, Messiahs might do well, and then it's like, Chaos can just use all their support because they keep making everything so generic it doesn't matter. And it's like, yep, there's no point anymore.
Hey, Nick, how do you like your GB8 that combos with your great?
Also, all of the Messiah players are like really bad about trying to play decks that are optimal for some reason. They always run around weird bad cards in them. It's like the weirdest like confirmation bias ever.
I've kind of. It used to be super competitive last year. Like the deck was hyper competitive, but now it's just it's falling off. And the thing is that it's a good combo deck, but Chaos is a better control deck.
Also, I'll point out all those arguments happened last year between you and I, Messiahs versus Chaos. They didn't happen this year because it was pretty obvious.
The Chaos will either eventually fall because it's gone a year and a half without support now, but that won't stop me from playing it at regionals. Or it'll rise once Butcher would realize, hey, we made a person who plays Chaos who's just randomly wandering around plotting to destroy the planet. We should not forget about him and let him kill everyone. So it'll either get good support in the future or it just will get bad support and it'll eventually just creep off. Especially the fact that like when I played Chaos in the past, it was I have two unwinnable matchups, 2 coin flips, and then I just beat everything else. And now that's not becoming the case anymore because I'm going to struggle against new Batama now. Only thing that changed.
Yeah.
Moving on to tier 3. Now this is going to be a descending order. We'll do this very quickly, unless there's something that stands out and you guys want to talk about it, like something that surprises you.
Okay, just pause it between them so we have a chance.
Okay, so at the top of the tier 3 list is Blade Wings for Darker Eaglers.
Yay.
Has a presence in Japan. It popped up right around the same time that Grand Blue started popping up everywhere in Japan, so who knows, maybe it's a counter. I don't know why it came up at the same time, but it did.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Genesis Wiseman loop. Because sometimes that deck can win.
Literally don't even try. Like, just don't play it.
Great Nature Big Belly is tier 3.
Fair.
Interesting.
Link Joker Messiahs.
Fair.
Oh no.
Incredibly fair. Should be lower.
Some Messiah player just had a heart attack and keeled over.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably gonna hate mail if people watch this. I can't wait.
Again, disclaimer, this is numbers. Nick can send you the actual numbers later if you want to contest them.
Wait, send them. We have them on the video like right now. They can just look at them.
No, but if you have to actually track down the tops, you're going to have to show them. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
On the Bushy Road and ARG websites. Good job.
Pretty much.
This is public information available to everyone.
G Spike Bros.
Fair.
Okay.
I want to say that I think this one is going up. Is going to go up on the list. It just hasn't had time to get a presence. Simply because the deck is now running 12 draw and it says, "Hey, if I get to GB8, I attack you until you die."
Yeah.
I hope they can make it to GB8.
Mecha
No,
Trainer.
they can. They have 4 Mega Trainers and 12 draw triggers. They'll get there.
Oh, jeez.
It just goes, I'm going to drop all my G guards at once. I'm at GB8. I attack you until you die. By the way, did I mention this is free? After Spike Bros, we have Gavriel. Gavriel still has a presence. It's very minimal, but it's still there. Onka Force Ripples, it's still a thing. It was one of my 2 losses at regionals. Scary. It can still have a presence.
Your eternal rival.
Bermuda Triangle Prisms, which that deck actually had 1 top in America, which it was actually it was 3rd place at the Jacksonville event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guy that's the one Bermuda top this year. Dimensional Police D Robos had tops once. Chronofang, because someone said I want to win suboptimally. G Gold Paladins.
Yay.
Glendios.
No more tops than Asha.
Just make that a trending hashtag. Still more tops than Asha.
Yeah. G Novas.
Still more tops than Asha.
Yeah. G Novas actually its presence is an ARG and not Bush Road events, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
ARGs always have weird presences. Like they had Narukami presence when regionals didn't have any.
I think the 2 out of 3 makes a huge difference too. Instead of just doing it the last couple rounds.
Yeah.
Is tier 3 as well. Silverthorn Pale Moon. Harry doesn't make it. Harry sucks. I'm sorry, Harry players.
Sorry, Tomias.
Yeah. I feel like the flavor text
someday.
I feel like the flavor text on every non-Silverthorn card in the Rummy Labyrinth set should just have the flavor text of "I'm sorry." Like you just open up, you pull out Harry, and his card text is just replaced with "I'm sorry." Blasters, which that one will go up. It just hasn't had the time. And amazingly, it topped once before the Legend deck came out. That one will probably change soon.
Tops before Legend deck comes out, the true hero of our people. I can't wait to start bringing that number up.
Royal Paladin Grade 2, a Jewel Knight Rush.
That was a weird one.
That weird deck where I had a G zone, but no grade 3s. Yeah.
If you don't have a grade 3, then the Jewel Knight rule doesn't apply for Sword Me.
Yeah, you still use Sword Me.
I want to commend that guy. That guy looked at the rules and said, "I have a way around this."
I mean, it works. It just specified like you have to have a Jewel Knight grade 3. That's it.
Next on the list is Shadow Paladin Diablos. They're
not Luard.
They're not Luard, but someone chose to play them over Luard this year and some managed to top. So congrats to you. And then Shadow Paladin Raging Form, which this one was all the rage on Facebook because I think it was Puerto Rico was the guy who topped and got first place with this weird janky list.
Was it pure Raging Form or was it that weird hybrid with Luard?
It was a weird hybrid with Luard, but essentially it was Raging Form with secondary boss of Luard.
If I'm losing hard enough, I'll just change to Luard.
Or instead of having a bad grade 3, why don't I just put in Luard and hope for the best? Because my stride zone is probably the second ultimate toolbox in this game, right next to Gears.
So the decks that are basically non-existent on this list are, I'm guessing, Narukami Vanquisher,
Tier 4,
OTT, Asha, and
everything
else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too long to go on. There are so many decks in this game. Seal Dragon, Sanctuary of Light, all of Neo Nectar.
Just all of it.
Neo Nectar, all of Murakumo, all of OTT.
Whatever your favorite deck is that isn't on the list is also bad. It's T4.
And to the people out there who have a problem with this list, why don't you just go to a tournament and then add to the statistics, and that way you can say you did something instead of complaining about it.
Yeah.
That's going to be my response to every complaint about this list is win a tournament.
Yeah. Nick did it. He could tell you that he influenced this.
He did it last year and this year.
He made sure that Chaos would remain in top tier 2, right?
Tier 2 or
my
bust.
goal. I have a goal for this game. See, I made first place last year, made second place this year. So on my next Bushroad event, I'm going to aim for third place.
Once you actually get first place, and you're going to be upset.
That's the joke I told you. That's what I told you. Like the next day after I found out you made top 2, I was like, next year's third, right? You got to get all the places so you have all the trophies.
All the losers' trophies. Hey, they didn't give me a trophy last year. They gave me a pen.
Yeah.
I guess you have to win first place again. You got to win first place again so you can get all three trophies.
Don't worry, Chaos will probably have busted support.
I can't wait. I can't wait till next regional where you get first place, and then on your next regional after that, you actually scoop to someone to say, "I need third place. I need a trophy." And they're just like, "Wait, what?" You're like, "No, you don't understand. I legitimately need the third place trophy to complete my collection."
I'll do it. Challenge accepted.
You pull them out of your duffel bag and you're like, look, it's so lonely without the third.
So I think the last thing we can touch on is Set 12 spoilers with what we saw, and I think the biggest, what is OTT support? I mean, why is it not Link Joker? Why is it not Aquaforce? I'm actually what are they going to give OTT? Because I don't know if it'll change anything.
So it looks like they're doing... Luard's getting a Dragon Stride, finally. It's going to be Dark Dragon, Luard, Heart Dragon, Dragon Man, Dark Dragon.
Super Dragon.
Yeah, it's going to have a ridiculous name. It's going to be fantastic. And then there's an OTT with missiles on it. There's a new Vanquisher. There's Chrono Jet's new Stride, more than likely. And Sherry Nice Stride. I think I already said that. And there's something else that got support that was weird. Oh yeah, Neo Nectar. They're getting support.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make it to tier 3.
Because well, she remembered they were a clan.
Actually,
You're not wrong.
Actually, now that I think about it, this set will come out in America after September, so it'll come out in October. So that'll be right at the end of tournament season. So they might not even make it a showing this year.
Oh jeez. Yeah,
Wait, what
you're
clan?
right.
Neo Nectar, because set
At this
won't
rate.
come out till October or November.
Hashtag still more tops than Asha.
Yeah, I think
Should
that's
it
what
even
we should.
top season.
We should do that. So if everyone who's watching this, if you're going to talk about your clan on a Facebook group or on like Instagram or Twitter or anything, you need to finish your post with hashtag more tops Twitter. Still more tops than Asha.
Mm. I mean, the fact I
We
can
need to
go
make
with-
that a running thing.
the fact that I can take Blade Weeks and say hashtag still more tops than Asha. That makes me proud.
Oh my god, all of my decks are better than his because I only play decks that are in tier 3 and above.
Sorry, but not sorry, Harry.
The only deck I have that's even comparable is Mega Colony.
Wait, Megas aren't out there anymore. I would think that Machining would try to take the place, but they never have since.
No, you don't understand. That means I can say Giraffa is as good as Asha.
Oh my gosh.
They have the same amount of tops.
Did you know Garmor is as good as Asha?
Yeah. Mythguards is as good as Asha.
Hey, Tomise, you're gonna hate this. This is gonna trigger you. But Silverthorn is better than Harry.
It's okay, still more tops than Asha.
Yeah.
Hashtag still more tops.
Asha's on the tier Sanctuary of Light.
Yeah.
Anyone remember that subclan?
Yep, people thought it would win.
I have the crit trigger for it.
We're all the robots. Especially me.
Robots were tier 3. The Robos topped at some point early in the season.
Hmm. Was that a Japan top? Or no? No, there was some guy who did the Rebels, but was that an ARG top?
That was a Bushiroad top, I believe. But I'm not 100% certain, I don't remember.
Because I know he got within top 8, and he shared it, and it was the build that I liked. Because it used
True
to
Wave
be,
of Hate. That's what I'm looking for.
because it
Yeah.
used to be Enigman right chain, so that you can get to your grade 3s, and then you just abuse stand triggers and die max to just, I'm going to swing at you with crits.
It was the build
Huge regard.
It was the same build I conceptualized, but it ran like 8 stands instead of like I was gonna run 6 stands, 6 crit, and be scum.
Well, he ran 10 stand. He just focused on restanding.
Oh, yeah.
His units. That was it.
It was 10 stand. I thought it was 8 for some reason.
It was the work of enemy stands.
Yeah, that was mad.
Why do you need crit triggers when your rear guards already have crits on them?
Exactly.
More crits. I remember like 2 to 3 years ago when we were saying like 12 or 16 crit. No, you can't go even better than that. Don't even
no.
bother with draws and stands.
He asked who's the robot. That's the judge.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the robot.
His bandwidth is really trash right now. Like for some
I turned
reason,
it to very low, so.
yeah, it cuts in and out randomly. It makes no sense.
But when I stream on Twitch, everything is fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Do we have anything else we want to cover before we call it quits tonight?
I don't know unless someone wants to ask us stuff in the chat. We have 5 people, more than what we
We have-
usually have.
Oh wow,
We're growing.
I appreciate you guys actually hanging out in the chat with us.
Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah.
The 5 to 6 people that are
What?
hashtag
You're cutting
still more tops
Give
than
it a
Asha.
Hashtag still more tops than Asha.
That's the only
If-
relevant part.
Yeah, spread. Yeah, that's the most important part you can do than Asha.
Yeah. And if they don't get where it comes from, just link them this video and you did your job.
Yeah, send them this video with 2 people that are robots.
Yep.
It'll be fantastic. I'm excited to see the rest of set 12 support, and I'm also excited to see more Bermudas.
That
I wanna
Chocho's
see the
bizarre
Chochos.
adventure.
Yeah, if Brennan doesn't build it, I might throw my hat into the ring for garbage.
Yeah,
I want to get that on a shirt. Just hashtag still more tops than Asha.
Yeah,
And it's just an endless list of other decks.
it's. I think the biggest one is Jirafa and Mythguards. Like Jirafa and Mythguards are the same as Asha. They top the same amount of times.
Yeah, hashtag still more subs than Asha, and then there's hashtag on the same level as Asha.
Dude, P-Knight the deck has stopped more than Asha.
You mean Toss Salad or whatever?
Top the same amount.
Musketeer is the inferior deck to Asha. It's actually the same as Asha.
No, someone's like, I play Musketeers, but I play Asha. What's the difference?
Yeah. Literally same deck.
It doesn't matter. You're not winning.
Oh, man.
All I hear is tier 4, tier 4, tier 4. Man, it's a good tier list. I'm pretty happy with where everything wound up.
Do you guys have any questions in the chat? Just for us to answer real quick before we head off. Just curious.
You can ask anything. It's coming from our answer. You steal them.
Of course. That's the Nick appropriate answer.
Where do babies come from? You take them out of other people's carriages and you keep them.
Jeez. Nick, have you been hitting the bottle? Like, we haven't been looking. I mean, you do cover up your the stream, so or we can't see your face, so we can't verify.
I'd be okay with Nick drinking right now. He deserves it. He has to mentally prepare to either scoop or win games to get his first and third place trophies. He already has the pin. Like, literally, Nick has all the memorabilia for winning Bushiroad events except for a first and third place trophy. That's all he has to get now.
What do we expect next week at ARGs? Gear Chronicle, Night Rose.
Next week at ARGs? Oh boy, not Corum, myself, and Angelo.
Yeah, I mean, I won't have money by then.
I'll just do
Or
my
no.
real reason. Stormblood is coming out for Final Fantasy. I won't be there. Otherwise, I'd be playing Gears because Gears is probably going to be, I would say, 3 of the 8 decks in top.
If I got hired last week, I would have been able to go because I probably would have gotten money by now. But nope. I have Stormblood, so gotta do that. But as far as like decks, Gear Chronicle, Night Rose, you know,
well, because I know the locals there, I can tell you that there's going to be Noah Grappler,
yeah,
Messiahs, Gears, Noobs, and Grand Blue. I know that's going to be there for certain.
is OTT still good? Hey,
Was it never good?
No, you could say OTT is on the same level as Asha.
It's good at being on the same level as Asha.
I think OTT doesn't have a chance with set 12, but Bushiroad might surprise me and give them a Luard.
The only way that OTT can become good, because at this point drawing cards just doesn't cut it anymore because so many other clans do it, and even then like Chaos draws a ton of cards, Great Nature draws a ton of cards, Shadows draws a ton of cards, Gears draws a ton of cards, and besides for 2 of those decks, most of those decks just don't keep up anymore with just drawing cards. So the only way that OTT can become good again is if it finds a cheaper way to do what it does, but it also needs a brand new mechanic.
It's not just that, Nick. It's Chaos does control and drawing cards. Luard does I retire and do a bunch of other things and draw cards. OTT just does draw cards. They need something else to do.
Actually, OTT doesn't just draw cards, they also give power, but it's really minor amounts of power.
Yeah, they need to give bigger amounts of power.
Their mechanic is literally draw cards, give power. Like, the best, like, the OTT cards that most exemplify that are the Sasano GR and the Battle Sister Stride that literally draw cards and get power. Like, that's their entire gimmick. I do agree, they do need something stronger. They probably need a new keyword that just says, whatever drive checks I reveal, you can't guard with those grades.
That'd be nice.
The OTT deck that I like is Magus. I thought Magus was really cool when it came out. Oh, skill. I'm gonna look at top card. I'm gonna look at top card of the deck. Crit. Look at top card. Look at opponent. Look at top card. Look at opponent. It's a normal unit. Do effects.
Yeah. OTT is just in that really bad spot where they lack an identity of doing anything. They're sort of like they're like that lazy dude who after like high school didn't do anything with his life and didn't really like ever amount to anything, and he wound up working at a hardware store. That's OTT right now. OTT needs to have a midlife crisis already so the game can continue being okay.
I think that's it, though. I don't think
Do you
there's
think
anything
best of
else.
one is the right way to play? No.
No.
Obviously.
I say best of 3. You can play 3 games out in 40 minutes or less.
It's just unfortunate that Bushy Road forces us to do best of 1, but best of 3 is a better format.
Also, considering the scale that they hold the tournament and that it's free, I mean, it's not really a huge complaint. Getting better.
Like now we have best of 3 and top, which matters, but past that, I don't really care for Bushy events.
I'm glad day 2 they actually made it best of 3 when we were officiating.
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve this? I'm going to respond with everything.
You don't play Vanguard anymore, Alex, that's why.
It's because you play Markumo.
It's okay. You're still on the same. You're on the same tier as New Nick.
I was gonna say you need to build Crazy Eights, Alex, and start doing good shit. Doing good shit.
Yeah, Alex, you destroy the Spike Brothers.
Oh God! Like, really attack until you win. Why does it? What? Why? That shouldn't be real. Like, part of me believes that it's a figment of my imagination. It never really happened.
Also, it's really cheap to build.
Yeah, it is. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I think we're all done with the questions for tonight.
Yeah, I think that's it. I need to get food. It's 10:18.
Because Bushy didn't want to support Spikes for a while. I mean, it's true, but at least they gave them something they can do something with.
Most of the GB8s is GB8. You'll likely win the game. This one is GB8. You win the game.
Yeah.
In your deck to attack with. Okay.
By the way, I don't think we're gonna ever do a Fires Collection set review just because most of them are worthless. Like this one was literally everyone covered it because it's GB8s. It was the thing, so everyone already talked about it.
Thank you for my defeat flare. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna cut the stream off now. Thanks you guys for watching and hanging out and stuff.
Goodbye.
We'll figure out a good way to keep these coming. Talk to you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See ya.